Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Walt Disney Imagineering has some new leadership. Closures have been announced at Disney's Hollywood Studios as the company gets ready to start construction on Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land. And we'll have a review of Tony's Town Square restaurant in the Magic Kingdom. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 869 for the week of January 19th, 2016. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the show. Coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, I'm your host, Pete Werner. Joined at the table this week by my good friends, former UN Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dag.
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony-winning actress Rita Moreno.
I had a ding.
Emmy-winning comedian Roseanne Barr.
Hi, everybody.
Former NSYNC member Lance Bass.
Oh, no. I'm still happy to be here.
And back in the production nook, our intern, Khloe Kardashian.
Hello.
And last but certainly not least, our lovely and talented producer, Craig.
Hi.
I just thought that was something a little different.
Who is my guy?
Dag Hammarskjöld.
I gotta go find a picture
There's a
of him.
plaza of him.
There is a
There's a
plaza
plaza
named
named for him in New York.
You know the plaza walking that you walk up to get to the Christmas tree?
Yes.
It usually has all the angels in it. That is Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza.
They named that after you.
Oh, I
He
thought
was a
that.
Nobel Prize winner.
I
He
thought
was
that-
the head of the UN.
I thought that was the place where you got those knick-knack, like you got drones and robots and stuff.
Maybe, but I'm making stuff up. I don't know if he
that's
was all those
Hammaker
things I
Schlemmer.
just told you. No, it's Hammaker Schlemmer. That's
So
not a
welcome
person.
to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a good week. I certainly am so far, but it's only Tuesday. There's time for things to go south. A couple things in housekeeping. Want to remind everyone, is my volume did it just go down?
No.
Okay. Then I'm losing my hearing as you're watching.
The week is getting worse for you.
It is already. Just want to remind everyone to check out the Diz Unplugged Facebook page, facebook.com/DizUnplugged. Be sure to like and follow us there, and be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Got a couple of YouTube channels going right now. YouTube.com/WDWinfo for Diz videos. The Diz Unplugged YouTube channel, youtube.com/DizUnplugged. And, of course, the new Dreams Unlimited Travel YouTube channel, youtube.com/DreamsUnlimitedTravel. And you can check out all of our shows and videos and offerings across our empire. So speaking of the empire, want to remind everybody about the shows we have coming up this week. Next Monday, the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast will have part 2 of the Viking River Cruise.
That is
in
correct.
Paris. Part 1 went up this past Monday.
Right. Part 2 will be more about the itinerary and the ports that we stopped at and our experience of those. Did anybody get a chance to watch the first one?
I haven't had a chance.
I did.
I know you did. You were there. We have pictures of the exploding shower. Getting a lot of feedback on the exploding shower in our stateroom. So.
Oh, cool.
That's a good story.
Yeah, it was a great story. Also, on Mondays, the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged this week, the team discusses this week's Disneyland news, including their thoughts about updates coming to the Rivers of America. Plus, Tom Bell takes a look at the Courtyard Theme Park entrance. I'm guessing that's a hotel called the Courtyard Theme Park entrance.
I bet they don't have an exploding shower.
Really?
And every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, DizUnplugged.com, The Trip with Jenny Lynn Knopp, Teresa Eccles, and Jackie Gailey. Do we know what they're talking about this week, Craig?
I believe they are talking about a dining experience at Disney Springs.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Very good. And, of course, Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, DizUnplugged.com, the Universal Edition of the Diz Unplugged with Craig Williams, Rhino Clavin, and Jenny Lynn Knopp. And this week you are talking about dealing with the construction?
Yes, there's
Universal?
a lot of construction going on at Universal, just like Disney, and I guess every place, everywhere. But right now, Universal Studios Florida is pretty well ripped apart. Islands of Adventure isn't doing that great either, so we're going to talk about how to best traverse these parks while all this construction is happening.
Sounds good. And of course, Fridays through the month of January, Connecting with Walt with Michael Bowling and Craig Williams. This Friday, Michael and Craig discuss how the Reedy Creek Improvement District came into existence as part of Walt's plan to build Walt Disney World. So that's on Friday on iTunes. That's audio only. And you can subscribe to that and all our shows on iTunes. But just go to disunplugged.com. You find the show notes, links to all this, how to subscribe, all that good stuff, all our videos, everything, all in one easy-to-find place, disunplugged.com. So anything else in housekeeping?
I just wanted to give a quick thank you to everybody who sent words of encouragement and congratulations when Katie and I did the 5K. I was just amazed at the people that were, supportive.
That's cool.
And that
Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. I said that, it was something I never thought I could do once, and then I did it the second time. So it's pretty cool to know that people are out there that care.
Absolutely.
I just want to give a shout out to the school districts in Massachusetts. 12 of them are under bomb threats at this point in time. Mm-hmm. And hopefully by the time you watch this is over. But so far there's been nothing credible and nothing's been found. But I just wanted to keep them in our thoughts.
There's a lot of chat about your scarf in chat.
Disneyland Paris.
And does Dreams book that?
Disneyland Paris?
We absolutely booked Disneyland
Sure.
Paris.
We have a scarf tour coming up. It's 50 degrees outside. It's scarf weather.
It is scarf weather.
Mm-hmm.
And we all decided to go very colorful today. We were in various shades of gray. And
Yeah, really. We're all in mourning.
Yeah.
You have a shout out or something you want to mention?
There's a lot of great feedback on like the new intro of the show, of the Diz show, the Dreams Unlimited logo. I just want to give a shout out to Will Perry, who is the behind the scenes person that does all this stuff. So I think they look great too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anything else we have for housekeeping?
Oh, yes. Hang on. It takes me a second.
By all means, move at a glacial pace. You know how that thrills me.
That's the only pace I move at. I am the glacier.
And I am the walrus.
I have a friend named Richard Buxton. He's from Manchester, England.
You gotta look that up.
Such a good friend.
Really close.
An excellent friend.
And his 50th birthday is coming up. And this is what he wanted more than anything else, for us to say his name on the podcast. So I felt like I had to say Richard's name.
Okay. Well,
Was that worth waiting for?
Richard Buxton. Can I finish?
No.
Why?
Okay, finish.
Oh, thank you so much.
Is this by committee now?
Richard, apparently he thinks so. His life's about to get more difficult. So Richard Buxton, congratulations on 50. As someone who has survived it, it's not as bad as you think. But if all you wanted in the world was to have your name mentioned on this show, I mean, I appreciate that. But my gift to you is this bit of advice: aim higher. Okay. Happy birthday, Richard.
From the 7 Shades of Grey.
Well, speaking of people who absolutely wanted their names to get mentioned on this show because of their birthday, Teresa wants to remind everyone that she just celebrated her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Teresa.
Oh, that's right.
Excellent. We've turned into the Wolfman Jack show.
This is why I don't like doing the birthday shout-outs, because now we're going to have
Everybody's
1,000
gonna
emails.
Oh,
want-
I'm not doing any just for my friend Richard Buxton, whose name I had to look up.
You're a good friend.
Well, the only reason at first you thought it was Richard Burton.
Oh, I would mention him too. I liked Richard Burton.
All right. Anything else? Any of the birthdays, anniversaries, bar mitzvahs, bris?
I know we
Anything
can't do
want-
this. We can't do this anymore, but I thought Richard Buxton deserved it. I couldn't.
Yes, absolutely. What the heck?
I think Groundhog Day is coming up soon.
I'm going to throw something at you.
Okie dokie.
I am. Anything else?
His hearing has already started to go. Wait till his eyesight goes, then you're safe.
All right. Well, if there is anything else, we're not going to talk about it. On to the news with John.
Thank goodness. Felt like it took forever to get to me. Our first news story, Bob Weis named president of Walt Disney Imagineering. Bob Chapek, chairman of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, announced in a memo Friday that Bob Weis will become president of Walt Disney Imagineering. Weis is currently a vice president at Imagineering and has been overseeing the work at the Shanghai Disney Resort that opens later this year. Weiss's appointment consolidates two current positions. Bruce Vaughn, the current chief creative executive for Imagineering, will leave the company after a transition period, and Craig Russell, the chief design and project delivery executive, will remain at Imagineering but not in the same role. Besides finishing up the work in Shanghai, Walt Disney Imagineering has a busy few years ahead of it, with Star Wars projects on both U.S. coasts, plus Toy Story and Avatar themed lands at Walt Disney World. In addition to the recent work at Shanghai Disneyland, Weis oversaw the redesign of Disney's California Adventure, and before that helped design Disney MGM Studios, now Disney's Hollywood Studios. According to Bob Chapek, quote, "Since creativity is at the heart of what we do, we need to relentlessly innovate and evolve our organization."
Well, it's always a big deal when there's a leadership change at Walt Disney Imagineering. It's a fairly important job. This is not ceremonial by any means. This person sets the agenda, basically, for what Imagineering does. And I don't know enough about him to be able to speak intelligently to, if he oversaw Shanghai.
I was going to say, that's a major project.
It's a
huge.
multi-billion-dollar project. So I think it remains to, I think we'll get our first glimpse into how good he is when Shanghai opens in June and what the reviews are coming out of that, which I'd love to be there for that, but it's going to be, oh my God, that's going to be crazy.
You can't be there for the opening. It's going to be nuts.
It's going to be crazy. But
Maybe in 2017.
Yeah. Maybe.
For sure. All right, moving on to our second news story. Construction begins at Disney Hollywood Studios. The Walt Disney Company, Walt Disney World has confirmed that the iconic Earful Tower, a water tower with huge Mickey ears, will be removed as Disney's. My goodness. It will be removed as Disney's Hollywood Studios begins construction on two new areas themed to Star Wars and Toy Story. Disney will also close the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie set adventure, the Monsters, Inc. meet and greet, and the Studio Catering Company, in addition to the April 2nd closure of the Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt Show that was announced earlier. No date was given for the removal of the tower. And the reason why they're saying the tower is coming down is that it would have changed how those areas look. Like that would be plopped right in the center of those areas, and they didn't think it was appropriate for the theming.
They're going to replace it with a lightsaber.
Well, there's some speculation that that tower is going to be repurposed as the water tower at Disney Springs.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Is what I've been reading. Also, interestingly enough, starting to see speculation now about when we will see the opening of Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land. And a lot of the speculation revolves around 2018, which, if Disney could pull that off, would be huge. If by the time 2018 closes, both of those lands are open. And one of the things I was reading was that the speculation is that as work on some of these other construction projects, namely Disney Springs and Avatar Land, as that work wraps up, those crews are going to be brought over. And, one of the things I read on the boards was that, because that's where I'm getting this from, there's this great thread. We'll put a link to it in the show notes page, 2016 News Roundup. It's fantastic and great discussion and a lot of great speculation. We'll put a link to it. This is where I'm reading some of this. Some are saying that Bob Iger is going to want to still be here when Star Wars and Toy Story Land opens, which I think makes a lot of sense. I think if I would want to be. We've talked on the show many times about the importance of Disney not taking 16 years to build this.
I was reading an article this morning that they're trying to get it open at the same time Universal opens their Nintendo land, so that they're both open around the same time.
That would be interesting. When is that supposed to open?
There isn't a set time on when it's supposed to open.
Okay.
So they probably do want to beat them to it. And it's going to be easy. All they have to do is be willing to get a construction company who's willing to take the bid on the highest or the best price on getting it done quick.
Well, I think in terms of for Disney right now, as we've said many times on the show, this is not just about adding something new to the parks. This is about ensuring dominance for the next 2 decades for Walt Disney World. They are seeing a competitor in Universal now that is cutting into their market share. This has never been the case before. So, Disney has to get their ducks in a row. They have to deliver on these things quickly in order to really try to take the wind out of Universal's sails.
Do we remember how long it took to finish New Fantasyland?
I want to say that was, is that 4 years?
I was going to say 2, maybe closer to 3.
Well, I
thought it
was here in 2010 visiting with my family, and it was closed, and it was still under construction. Well, they were still finishing up things during my college program in 2013. So I know it's at least those 3 years.
I thought it was like 3-4 years that it was down for.
Well,
a
you had
while.
that one bunch. And
But
then
they weren't under the gun.
No, they
weren't under the
no.
gun
They
at
weren't
that
under the
point.
gun, but they had
it was a very different world.
They also
in
had
2010.
they also had a major infrastructure issue there, and that they had the lagoon that they had to get rid of. There was also some other weird thing under the ground that they had to get rid of. So
Walt's frozen
they did that. It was head.
body, yeah. Frozen head.
Do you think it's right, like while they're preparing for Star Wars Land, that they still charge full price at this park? That's
No, of
that's
course
been so
not.
stripped down.
Of course not, but it doesn't. It doesn't seem to make a difference because people are still going to that park like nothing's happening. So, but they're also trying to plus the hell out of everything.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, with
Yeah.
the fireworks every night and the dance party and the Star Wars launch bay opening up and that stuff. They're trying to do everything they can to make So I'll give them that. That they are putting a real effort into adding some things to that park, albeit, it's not enough to get me to stay there.
Right.
I'm really dreading when our turn comes up to cover Hollywood
Yeah.
Studios
Yeah.
in the park, because that's going to be a month of please shoot me. But, the park the park's going under major construction, and it will be interesting to see how long this really takes. And like I said, the comparison with New Fantasyland is almost apples and oranges at this point, because the gun was not to their head with New Fantasyland the way it is
They
now.
can't play around on this one. They need to get going. And
They need to hit every mark. They need to hit their construction marks, and then what they actually end up presenting has to blow everybody away. They can't afford to miss on any of this. And you know what? As far as the finished product is concerned, I've got absolutely no concerns whatsoever that
Same
it's
here.
going to
Yeah, I
be
agree.
anything other than amazing. My concern is, and always has been, how long will it take to do?
Right.
If these rumors, if this speculation proves to be correct, that we have this within the span of the next 2 to 3 years, then we're going to be looking at Avatar Land, Star Wars Land, and Toy Story Land all opening within that time frame. Okay. Now, of course, it was confirmed over the holidays that big plot of land on Universal Boulevard was in fact bought by Universal Studios. It's 400 acres, just enough for a nice big theme park.
But not officially confirmed.
It is confirmed that they bought it. It is confirmed that they bought it. It is not confirmed what they're doing with it, but it is confirmed that they bought it, that they did option that land. But they have not confirmed that they're actually going to build a theme park on it. But I don't know. What do you think they might build there? You know, a shopping mall?
Actually, you know what? I actually think what you're going to see is you're going to see Universal's going to move their facilities from their backstage area to this land, to this new place, and they're going to expand the current theme
Not at
parks.
400 acres. Not at 400 acres.
They're going to take part of it and do that, and you're going to see Harry Potter expand between the two parks.
I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly.
I'm gonna
I
record
think.
this.
Yeah, we got it.
It's recorded.
First of all, the location of this land is prime location. This is not where you put your administrative offices or your backstage stuff. You don't put that there. And if you're going to do that, you're not going to buy it there, and you're not going to buy that much land. 400 acres is what you buy when you want hotels and theme parks. And they can fit, I think they said they could, I've heard that they could fit 2 or 3 hotels, the infrastructure to support it, and a theme park of the size of the current Universal Studios on that land. And I think that's the direction this is going to go. You're going to see shopping, dining, entertainment, and theme park on that 400 acres. And so, you know, that's why. And then I think, I honestly think once that's announced, look at your clocks, look at your watches, and 5 minutes later, Disney's going to say, oh, by the way, once we're done with Star Wars Land, we're going to open up Screw Universal Land. And the Screw Universal theme park.
I'd love to see that logo.
Yeah, really. So it's you know, fascinating to watch this happening. This is like I totally geek out on this, and it's like, get your popcorn. This is such a great little battle that's going on right now, and you know, we're the ones who win. So, all right, enough of that.
All right,
Next.
moving on to our third and final news story.
Give me something else to talk about.
Disney World ticket scammer faces judge. One of 3 suspects charged with reselling used Walt Disney World tickets to an Osceola County detective and deputy faced the judge last Thursday.
Okay, can you stop for a second? Just hold on for just a second.
Oh, we've seen this before.
Just stop for just a second. Well, first of all, hello, Chewbacca, with that hair. What the hell's up with that hair? I am going to make a proposal here that the law in Florida be changed. That instead of arresting the scammers, arrest the idiots who are buying the damn tickets.
Yeah.
Are these people really surprised when they get to the turnstiles and they find out their 5-day park hopper is expired?
There's a similar thought in countries in Europe when it comes to fake handbags. What they've done is they've made the law that says people can sell their fake handbags, but you can't own one. So they're going to arrest the person who purchased it.
Oh, okay.
So that's
Interesting.
that's the theory that, you know,
Imagine if that was
make
like with
that
drugs.
the deterrent.
Yeah, I vote for that. I vote for that. Arrest the people who are buying these tickets. What? Come on. Really?
She was also selling them out of that gas station in Lake Buena Vista. That
Okay,
rip-off
yeah.
gas station.
Okay. Yeah. What could
Second
go
City?
wrong? What could go wrong? How many times did you hit your head before you decided that was a good idea? That, oh, look at this seedy, nasty gas station that's ripping everybody off. Oh, look, there's a little counter there selling Disney tickets. That must be legitimate.
Next to pizza.
Because everybody,
There is no fixing stupid.
because everybody wants the cheapest thing. They found the deal. They found the thing. They can get in cheaper than anybody else, whether it's right or wrong. That's what they want to do, and they run the risk of buying something that's bad for them.
Put them in jail.
All right, please put her picture back up. Carrie Michelle Geith, along with Brett Snyder and Nola Davila, were arrested for unlawful sale of multi-day event tickets. The 3 were at a ticket counter in a convenience store on State Road 535 and offered the undercover Osceola County deputy tickets that had leftover days on them, advising that they would need to use the original names on the tickets when they reach the theme park gates. Multi-day Disney tickets are non-transferable. This was not the first time the suspects had been caught attempting the same scam. She hid them in her hair.
Okay, I'm really. For those who are listening, if you can go find this picture that we're putting up right now, I'm fascinated by this woman's hair. Was it electrocution? Were they knocking her with a cattle prod? What happened with this hair?
Bad hair
She does
day.
got big hair.
She's got big bad hair.
Is that the guy from Twisted Sister?
No, I think
Dee Snyder.
Yeah, yes.
you know what? She does look like Dee Snyder. Oh Lord, yeah. Look, folks. Like I said, I think the people.
Don't buy your tickets from a gas station.
Yeah.
If it sounds too good to be true, it is. If someone's offering you discounted tickets, don't buy them.
And
The
you have to
only
use
legit-
somebody else's name.
And honestly,
Yeah.
the only legitimate discounted tickets, there are a few places in town that sell them. The Official Ticket Center is one of them that we do business with. There's a few others. The discounts on these tickets are maybe, depending on the ticket you're buying, where Disney World is concerned, maybe $10, $15, $20. You're not going to find a 5-day park hopper for $150. If you do, it's a ripoff, period. End of story. Now, when it comes to some like SeaWorld, even Universal, but even Universal, the discounts have gotten a lot smaller. These are legitimate ticket brokers. A place like the Official Ticket Center, they have a contract with Disney. Disney knows that they're doing this. Disney provides them with the tickets. So they're all, it's legitimate. So there are legitimate ticket brokers out there. So if you want to save some money on tickets, especially if you're doing SeaWorld, Universal, some other off-site things, Medieval Times, a lot of the dinner shows, those you can get really good prices on. That's what you do. You go there.
There are also places that you'll see at gas stations and the mall and the outlets that will offer you free tickets. Those are timeshare tours. So don't confuse those with discounted tickets. Make sure if it is a timeshare tour, you're spending your whole day touring.
And,
Yeah.
and just
Sales
do your
pitches.
research. Like, look around. Like, what have people said anything online about this place? And it's probably a safe way to go about it. I mean, even the internet, you got to be a little sure that it's not a sketchy website.
Right,
but
exactly.
However, I do believe that in a case like this, somebody says, "Oh, look, I can get something cheaper. I'm okay with taking the risk."
Right.
If you're telling me I have to use someone else's name and they're willing to do it,
Again,
they're not.
you can't fix stupid. You can't. And so if you're going to do that and that's going to happen, I got no pity for you. I really don't. I really don't. If you're going to, I don't know.
All right, that'll do it for the
Yeah.
news.
My blood pressure's all up now. All right. Thank you, John. We will move on to rapid fire and see if there's any stories there to piss me off. We'll start with you, John.
I'm very excited about this. Adult coloring books.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Is this going not suitable for work?
No. Adult coloring books themed for Disney are now coming to Amazon. Apparently, adult coloring books are becoming very popular.
Big thing, yeah.
They're for people who want to meditate and have sort of a therapy. They're very intricate. Their designs are extremely intricate, and you have to, I guess, color between the lines. But now they have ones that are specifically for Disney. You can get princesses, Frozen, Star Wars themes.
Do they have them for like the iPad or?
No, you
They're
actually
books. They're
they're like
physical
coloring
books.
books.
Oh.
I bought
Who
Julie
wants
a
to do
bunch
that?
last year and bought my sister some this year. I mean,
There must be some for the
Julie
iPad Pro.
loves it.
Yeah, my girlfriend has one too. She loves it.
What
too.
is the difference between an adult coloring book?
Because these are like really intricate. Like
Right.
some of them are like these awesome patterns, and
Some
it really
motor
takes a lot of
coordination.
detail to. It takes some concentration.
They
to,
say people
to
say
get it
that
done
what
right.
they're doing is again people who want to sort of have a moment of meditation,
Right.
or sort of be able to shut down for a little bit and relax. This is what
There are all these different types of patterns
Okay.
you can buy. You can buy like floral or
me show
like
Kevin.
very like Celtic stuff, and do buy good color pencils though. Prismacolor.
Dubai.
Dubai, yeah, and from Dubai, those are the best ones. But Prismacolor, those are cool color pencils.
See, like
They do make them for the iPad Pro.
oh,
Louis Vuitton makes them for adults.
But I think the object.
Oh.
What would you do? I mean, you'd print it out or you'd color on your iPad. I think the goal is
No,
to
with the
get.
iPad Pro, you have the pencil.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's why I'm saying that. And oh, by the way, folks, if I haven't mentioned, if you don't have an iPad Pro, stop what you're doing right now. Go out and buy one. with the pencil. It changed my life.
See, I would need
Changed
it.
my life.
I would need the actual paper, for coloring books like this, to get away from the computer. I think
No,
that's
who
the
wants to get
thing,
away
is
from
to
the
pull you
computer?
away from. Look,
You
if
want
I'm
to go further into it.
if I'm in the middle of coloring and then an email comes up, there goes my zen.
Put in airplane mode.
I want to buy adult coloring books,
Okay.
but then all the pink would run out. My pink crayon would be good.
Okay. Thank you, John. Kevin. Next.
HR. All right. Disney released a new promotion today
Da, 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 da.
for like jazz hands. The new promotion is called the Summer Meal Deal Offer. Basically, the premise is if you book a full price package and buy tickets, you will get one counter service meal per day.
Per person per day.
Per person per day. So what this means is you're paying full price for the tickets and the hotel, but you and your kids are going to get a cheeseburger. Okay, here are the details. The package price is based on the party size and travel date provided. It includes a ticket valid for the number of nights of your stay plus one. The maximum number of ticket days included is 10. Tickets must be used within 14 days of first use. Availability is not guaranteed until payment is received, and it includes complimentary Disney quick service meal for each guest aged 3 and older per room at a Disney Value Resort hotel. You can book through February 29th. The valid travel dates are May 29th through June 30th and July 5th through August 13th, 2016. What else can I tell you?
Exceptions are campsites and
Art of
We've heard
Art of
about those people
animation.
booking campsites just to get tickets and
Yep.
not staying in the campsites, and other people can't camp.
right. This is for value resorts only, and the exception to the value resorts are campsites and the
Art of Animation.
Art of Animation Little Mermaid rooms.
The number of rooms allocated for this offer is limited. Advanced reservations are required. A minimum 3-night length of stay is required. A minimum 2-day Magic Your Way base ticket purchase is required. They cannot be combined with any other discount or promotion. And the offer, as John said, excludes campsites and Disney's Art of Animation Little Mermaid rooms. It excludes alcoholic beverages and gratuities. And children aged 3 to 9 must choose from the children's menu. if
Void where
available.
prohibited by law.
Yeah.
Do not fold, spindle, or mutilate.
You need that guy that talks really fast when he's giving those details.
Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, this was an announcement met with a thud on the internet.
Exactly.
No one that I'm seeing or talking to is excited or thinks this is a good thing.
This is
But-
not free dining.
This is not free dining. But the bigger question for me is why in January is Disney having to boost their occupancy numbers over the summer at value resorts? Disney does not release anything like this ever. I don't care what it is for the summer months unless there is a need. There's a reason free dining starts the end of August because September is historically a very, very slow month. Disney has done a very good job of changing that. They've done a very good job of changing that in January, as I'm finding out going through the Magic Kingdom every Monday. But normally, the summer months took care of themselves. Occupancy, very high. I am wondering what it is that's driving this.
The only thing I will say is along those lines is it does end June 30th. So that's kind of there's some.
No, it doesn't.
July 5th through August 29th.
That's true too.
There's
I forgot about the
there's
second day
a
through.
brief break for the 4th of July. These are the kind of offers you give when your occupancy numbers are soft. And why are there and I have this is just like off the top of my head speculation. What we're hearing and seeing, as I just said, Craig and I have been in the Magic Kingdom a couple times now this month as part of what we're doing now. Everybody's in the parks at least 2 days a week. And, I remember not that long ago, you could shoot a cannon down Main Street in January and not hit anybody.
January 2nd.
Not the case anymore. Not the case anymore. Disney's done a great job. Now granted, it was Martin Luther King Day yesterday. Craig and I were over there. And, 50-minute wait for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at 11 o'clock on a Monday morning in January. So I think what might be happening is that you have people saying, well, January's busy, September's busy. These are the slow months. I'm not going to go in the summer.
Also, we're talking about all of this construction pretty much everywhere.
I wonder if we're not seeing the beginnings of the boomerang effect. It's every discussion you hear is about crowds. And I'm not just talking about on the boards. I'm talking about articles in magazines and newspapers by people who are not part of the community, people who are not us, that are taking their families to Disney. How many articles in the last 6 months have I seen from local newspapers to the New York Times talking about the crowds? Is it starting to get to a point where the boomerang is coming back on Disney, and the threat of these crowds is now keeping people away? And then what kind of response does Disney have to something like that? This certainly isn't.
No, if you're trying to bring the people back, this offer wasn't it.
This is a weird offer all the way around. It's also Disney, in my opinion. Disney is floating a balloon to see exactly what they can get away with free dining.
Yep.
How little can you give
That's a
someone
good point. Actually,
Yeah.
you might be right.
to entice them to stay?
Well, there's also another thing. Apparently, the Canadian exchange rate is not very good.
They don't offer discount to Canadians.
I also understand that's true of Australia. The Australian exchange rate is
Yeah, very bad.
very bad. And I know that some Canadians have started canceling their trips.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it, that maybe they're seeing a block of rooms become available.
Well, at some point, I'm assuming Disney will go back to doing an at-par deal for Canada. They stopped doing it for a while because the Canadian dollar was either at par or better than the U.S. dollar. Excuse me. And now, especially with the price of oil tanking the way it is, that's affecting some of the countries like Canada, where a big part of their economy is based on oil production. So, I don't know. I think that you're right. They might be floating a test balloon for what will work for free dining. They want to get away from. I know they want to get away from that. I think that for them to offer this at value resorts, again during their busiest season and for a large portion of the summer. We're not talking about 1 or 2 weeks here.
No, most of the summer.
It's most of the summer, with the exception of the 4th of July holiday.
We talked on the Dreams Unlimited travel show that I had heard a rumor that Disney is thinking of getting away from advanced dining reservations, that they would only be same-day reservations. The way it used to be. You walked into the park and you made a reservation for that day, depending on where you wanted to eat. And I'm wondering if this is combined with that, and if we might drastically see a difference in dining, that they no longer offer a free dining package but a quick service thing, and that would actually open up dining reservations for a lot of the year.
Well,
It would also make getting dining a lot easier because people won't be so enticed to do
because
that.
they could book this package at the last minute, and then all they have to worry about is getting their dining reservation that day.
Well, we had talked about Skipper Canteen, the new restaurant that opened at the Magic Kingdom last month, is doing this very thing. They're not accepting advanced dining reservations. It's go up to the podium when you're ready to eat, and they'll hand you a buzzer and tell you how long it'll be before you get your table. And we were there for the opening, and I found it interesting that they kept referring to this as a test. This policy of not taking reservations and doing it at the podium, they referred to as a test. And, sometimes a word is just a word, and sometimes a word really means something. And it felt to me like this was part of a larger discussion.
I think in order to keep their restaurants busy for the whole time, that they would have to at least accept the same day reservation. Because, otherwise you could have 400 people standing outside a restaurant at 6 o'clock and at 8 o'clock have it be absolutely empty. And I don't think they'll do that. I think that they'll probably go to day of reservations. I'm hoping they do.
I enjoy that, especially just coming from a local, that we'll just pick up and go to a park. And like at Epcot, we'll look at, like near guest services, there's like the plaque that'll say, okay, these restaurants have availability. And, they're not the ones that you would choose, but
well, do you remember when we talked about this on the other show? Do you remember when you used to go into Epcot and there was that bank of TV screens and you would talk to a live cast member and you would see what was available that day?
Corey wasn't born yet.
These are before most of their time.
I looked at Kathy and I knew this was not before her time.
But before she started coming to Disney.
Right. That was before my time. Yeah.
Oh, well.
I remember him.
It happened.
I remember. That was.
But
it was
the
the
wall's
coolest
still
thing.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what it was you said, what do you have available at 1 o'clock? I think we're going to be hungry at 1 o'clock. And they would tell you the restaurants and you would make your reservation at the moment. I think this would cut down on duplicate reservations. I think it would cut down on stress of people who have
no-shows.
Definitely. Yeah.
Of people, making reservations 60 days or 6 months prior to when they get here. I think it's a great idea, to be honest with you.
And I also think that it would address one of the big complaints people have right now with My Disney Experience is how complicated everything is. If the dining aspect of planning your trip became a lot simpler in terms of, no, you don't have to be up 6 months in advance at 6 o'clock in the morning and on the phone to be our guest or whatever. Might help with that. Interesting to see. We gotta move on. We can't talk too much because we got
I
a
have
lot
to
to
say
get
one
to.
more thing, and I promise I'll let it go. The other day we talked about My Disney Experience again on the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast, and one of the things I went home and I thought about it, and I always say I don't like it, and I think one of the things I figured out what it is. Disney used to be carefree to me. I used to come to Disney and it was carefree. I was like, let's go, let's see, what's next, what's available. Oh, there's a line there, let's go do that. But it was carefree. I never planned a thing. And now it's like you're moving the troops west.
Right.
So I think I missed the carefree part of it. And I think if they take out this these dining reservations, I think that would make it more carefree. I'm done now.
And
Okay.
Just so everyone knows, the Dreams Unlimited travel show Kevin was referring to is for an upcoming episode. It didn't already happen and you missed it.
Right.
Sorry about that.
You missed it. It was great.
It was the best.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Kathy.
Okay. Going along with dining, now you're able to modify your dining reservations from your computer. You can do this up to 20 minutes before your ADR time. You can do it online. You can't do it through the app, though. So I don't know how many people are going to be sitting at their computer to do this. But my question, and I haven't seen the answer anywhere, is, you had the 24-hour cancellation.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that. So does that mean now you can go in, you can move it around, and then you get away from the cancellation fee?
That's what was going to be my question to you. Does that mean that at 20 minutes now your cancellation, the fee will be waived if you cancel? Probably not.
Right. Nobody said anything, and I've looked
Has
at a number
anybody
of
heard
sources.
of anybody being charged that cancellation fee?
Yeah, sure.
You have?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's happened to me.
Have you? I haven't. I guess maybe I just haven't done it. I didn't know if it was something being enforced.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they will, if you call up and just say, my dog ate my homework, they'll give you the money back. But yeah,
Right.
Well, if they change this dining plan, that would alleviate that also.
sure. All right, thank you, Kathy. Corey.
All right. The Willis Clan will be performing at Raglan Road at Disney Springs.
Who?
Hold up.
you know
I'm gonna talk
Like
about
Bruce
it.
and Rumor?
January 19th to the 22nd. All right. The Willis Clan band, I'll say that 5 times, is made up of 12 siblings and their mom. Their dad is behind the scenes, where I would be. They write their own music using their Irish background and as a base for their sound, which combines several musical influences. The family was seen on America's Got Talent, and currently they have a reality show on TLC. They've opened for Brad Paisley and the band Perry. Their latest album was number 6 on the iTunes pop charts. So they will be performing there at the patio stage on the. It'll take place between 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. depending on the day you go. So if you're a fan,
We did watch them on America's
Yeah.
Got Talent.
So
That mother looks so tired.
I wonder.
How many kids?
12.
Yeah, you'd be tired too.
It's like,
with 12
stop it.
kids.
I wonder if, like, with the with Disney
Has to fill out the
Springs,
band.
I wonder if we're going to
Mom,
see
we need
more
a
of
drummer.
Push,
I'd be the dad behind the scenes.
push.
It's like you want to go up to the father and say, "Leave her alone." What's the matter with you?
He's trying to make a band.
Oh, apparently he's made a baseball team.
Oh, honey, let's make a band tonight.
Oh, all right, Corey, thank you.
Band practice.
Craig, back to you.
One
Rapid-
time in band camp. Sorry, go ahead. I'll stop now.
Kylo Ren meet and greet will be coming to Star Wars Launch Bay at Disney World and Disneyland. I didn't find a time whenever
Or a
it's
good
actually
picture,
opening.
apparently.
Just gonna say. This could be any. This could be the Willis Clan.
Well,
That's the father behind the scenes,
wearing a mask.
reaching
he's
out for the
going
mother.
to wear his mask the whole time at the meet and greet. So
So it's not you're not going to see an Adam Driver lookalike walking
God.
So
around there.
so he's not gonna pull his mask off and it's Barbara Streisand.
He's not going to take off the dustbuster.
The first time I saw the movie and he took the mask off, I'm like, oh my god, it's Barbara Streisand.
And he does that thing with his
Hello,
hair.
gorgeous.
He does that thing with his hair like it's a Pantene commercial.
I just read a thing the other day that Starbucks will no longer allow you to give your name as Kyle Lauren. So when they call you out for your coffee, Kylo Ren.
I will say this: I know someone who said they've seen them there already. So apparently, it's in some sort of test
oh, okay.
that he's not. I know there's no official date for his release.
Yeah, I would assume it has to, because for those of you who haven't seen the launch bay, how it is now, the one side is like the Empire, so that's where Kylo Ren's replacing Darth Vader. He won't be around anymore. And then Chewbacca's on the other side, but they actually, because it's in the rooms, they have, although the actual character doesn't speak to you, they have voice responses that come back to whatever you're talking to them about. So I'm guessing they have to get that interaction down where it comes off naturally.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Craig. Chloe.
Mine's not very exciting. Slow news week, I guess. Animal Kingdom's Flights of Wonder will be closed from the 25th of January to March 17th.
This is like when you hear about a really old celebrity dying, and you go, "Weren't they dead already? Wasn't this closed already?"
Yeah,
I
not too
like
excited.
the birding.
I
disappoint bird fans everywhere.
I did
All
hear.
three of them are upset.
I did hear a fun rumor that's not related to Flights of Wonder, but Carousel of Progress might be getting. It's a rumor, but there might
Might be getting the
some-
birds. Shipping the birds in. I would go see that. It's a great big one.
As the birds poke out Grandma's eyes.
That would be great. Wouldn't it? Attack Uncle in the tub.
Universal will let that whole thing go.
That'd be a great mashup, yeah.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Alfred Hitchcock meets Carousel of Progress.
Carousel of Progress. It's the
Timmy,
Carousel-
don't go in the attic.
The Carousel of Terror. I think that'd be great.
I think we've just come up with a new rhyme.
Grandpa, what was it like? What was your fun rumor?
that Carousel's going to be getting new seats, new carpeting, and
Ours is much, much funnier.
Yeah,
No, it's about time. I hope
Yeah.
you're right, because the last time I was in Carousel of Progress, I was disgusted.
musty.
Yeah.
Musty is the word.
Smells like
and
a
the
bathroom.
carpet looks so cheap
That-
and like torn up, and
That an attraction that has that legacy and that
They
story.
have to take out the grinding noise.
Yeah, when they move the room.
All right, thank you, Steve. I really want to get to this review.
Sure. Let's do it.
We had a chance yesterday, Craig, myself, John, and Kevin, to have lunch at Tony's Town Square restaurant in the Magic Kingdom. And, there's just so much to say.
Are we going to show Craig's package first?
Yes, we have to show Craig.
His video package.
Okay. Yes, Craig has put together a video of our experience, so we'll go to that first. All right. Well, the music was much better than the food was. Let's get right to it. Like I said, we had lunch at the restaurant yesterday. Wasn't particularly difficult, I don't think, to get a reservation.
No, it was not difficult.
And let's talk about what we ordered, Kevin.
Can we talk about what we liked first? I liked where our seat was, and I thought our waiter was really good.
The first time ever we ate in the glass enclosed, quote unquote, outer room. It was very pretty. It was very nice.
Very nice.
And on a chilly day, it was a great place to sit.
Atmosphere was fantastic.
And our waiter was really good.
Service was excellent.
It goes downhill from
Yeah,
here.
that's about it.
There's a couple of minor bright spots, but yeah.
You're not going to get tan from them.
No, you're not.
We started out, we ordered the zucchini fries. We ordered the calamari. We ordered the pasta fagioli. And we ordered the seasonal soup, which at the time was wedding soup. Everything was between $8.49. Oh, the calamari was $11.99. And the soups were each $6.49. Should we stop there and do this, or should we get to the whole list?
Let's do that first.
Okay.
I will tell you, I had the zucchini fries, and I thought they were pretty good.
We decided you won.
That they were quite good. Nice Thousand Island, dipping sauce. Nothing. No, I mean, look, not out of this world. Not, oh my God, I must go back to Tony's Town Square for the zucchini fries, but they were good.
That was the only thing we ordered that we ate all of.
Yeah.
That plate went back empty. That should also tell you something. John, you had the wedding soup.
Craig and I both had the wedding soup. Pretty much it was colored water with meatballs floating in it. It had the broth had no discernible flavor.
None whatsoever.
And
salty water.
It was salt water, yeah.
We thought the meatballs were okay, but really this was just awful.
Yeah, the meatballs were pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought the meatballs were pretty good.
However,
but
once you ate your 3 meatballs and you were full, and it was just terrible. The soup itself was awful.
I couldn't remember if there was any spinach at all after driving home, thinking about it, and looking at the picture, there is some, but barely any at all.
Hardly any.
There was spinach, there was vegetables in it. They were all cooked beyond recognition, down to the point where they were just a mush. It was just awful. Just terrible.
I had the pasta fagioli. It would take the rust off your bumper. Every one of us tried it, and
That
everyone.
acidic, huh?
Oh, it was battery acid and tomatoes. This is going to be a theme anytime red sauce is involved. This came in a beautiful ceramic bowl, and it had a little ceramic top to keep it hot, which I thought was a nice touch. However, that's what went back of our soup.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this was inedible. It was so acidic and tart, and
It's a problem for those of you who have made a red sauce from a can. If you've made your own red sauce, your own marinara sauce from a can, you know that if you don't cook it enough in a certain way and add certain spices and ingredients, you're going to have that very acidic, almost tinny taste to it.
we actually decided we were trying to figure out if it had a fish flavor because it was so tinny and acidic. This is out of a can, and it has not had any love whatsoever.
And that, excuse me, unfortunately, was absolutely a theme for the lunch in terms of anything red that was on a plate. It was absolutely atrocious how bad it was.
And then for the table, we got the calamari.
Which was cold, undercooked, rubbery,
Oh, geez.
and as soon as it's, you know how you're not supposed to be able to smell fish?
Yeah.
As soon as it was set on our table, all of us went, oh.
Wait, is that the whole calamari dish?
That's
Yes.
the calamari.
Okay.
And that is
It
$12.
looks like it was like different frying techniques.
Well,
on
it
that.
was. You have the rings and you have the tentacles, the legs, which is okay. I'm fine with that. I enjoy both. But it literally was. It was so poorly executed. The breading fell off. The
It was
calamari
soggy and cold.
the calamari was like rubber bands. It was so chewy. And then, to make it even better, they served it with a side of acid. Whoa. Oh my God, one of the worst red sauces ever.
Ever.
This, Kevin said it felt like they opened a can of tomato paste and just emptied it into this little dish. It was awful. Awful.
Now, we also ordered a flatbread. They call it their, I'm sorry, Joe's Artisanal Pizza. Italian sausage, pepperoni, roasted peppers, caramelized onions, and garnished with fresh basil. I'm going to guess this was 11 inches long and 8 inches wide. Again, covered in battery acid red sauce, and came out, I don't think lukewarm would have done it justice. The cheese had healed. You know, once cheese gets cold again, it stops looking melted and kind of goes back to its original state. And this was something on they're very proud of. It's an artisanal pizza. And I'm going to shock the daylights out of you. This was $18.
Whoa.
$17.99.
And I will say this.
expensive.
It could have been warmer. It was not awful. It was by no means the best flatbread pizza I'd ever had, and certainly by no means was it worth $18. But in comparison to some of the other things had been served and were about to be served for our meal, this was one of the highlights for me. Was that it wasn't terrible.
I always gauge this on how much went back. And 2/3 of this went back.
Yeah.
That tells you something. When you have 4 hungry guys, and we all sat down and said, we're starving. 2/3 of our $18 artisanal flatbread went back.
What did the waiter say? Did he say anything?
No.
I get the feeling he's not surprised when things go
Okay.
back. No one mentioned, why are you not eating this?
We were polite. How are things? Oh, okay.
This was
Thank
not
you.
adversarial at all.
No, we
our
were-
waiter was great.
One of the things we've always tried to do when we do any restaurant review is we don't do this is terrible, send it back, give me
Right.
something new. We try to do it first impression and just sort of move from there.
But it was funny. The only time he actually asked, like, "Oh, did you not like that?" was whenever you said something about your coffee.
You overheard
That
me
was the
saying
only
Oh, really?
coffee, yeah.
John ordered a cup of coffee, and they told him the milk was 1% milk, and he brought him a cup of coffee and a whole little creamer of milk, and John poured the entire creamer into the cup of coffee, and the coffee was still coffee colored. Not coffee with cream, it was still almost
Oh, jeez.
black. Pete ordered a cup of coffee and he asked for whole milk or cream.
Half and half, yeah.
Half and half, and got a real cup of coffee.
It was pretty good too. Yeah. It was a Joffrey's. It was good.
The pizza garnish looks like confetti to me.
Well, this is a theme. I've decided they got their shredded cheese from Central Shops. This is like the snow that falls on Main Street. The cheese did not look real, and it never melted. You'll see it in some other pictures, too.
We moved on to entrees, and I consider a great test is chicken parm at any Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Chicken parm is kind of like one of the basics that transcends all Italian restaurants. So anytime I go to an Italian restaurant that I haven't been to in a while, I get the chicken parm. Pete ordered the chicken parm also. John ordered the cannelloni. And Craig ordered the spaghetti and meatballs, as that was what the waiter said was the most popular dish on the menu. All of them had red sauce on them. And all I can tell you is the vast majority... Pete and I realized that if you took your knife and your fork and you removed all traces of the red sauce, you basically had one giant chicken tender, and it was edible.
Yeah.
But it was
actually thought-
panko-crusted fried chicken.
Yeah, I actually thought that the breading on the chicken was unique, was interesting. It was
It's
an
panko
interesting
breadcrumbs.
No, but I'm saying that they obviously did something to it. It had a sweetness to it. It had, and I'm like, oh, okay, wow, that's a really nice flavor profile. Of course, you molest it with that vile red sauce.
With any Italian restaurant, if you don't have your sauce down, everything else
No, they
it's not
do
going
not
to
have
fall
their
in
sauce
line.
down.
I mean,
They
it's
do
just
not have
everything has that.
I will say that the pasta was cooked correctly. It wasn't mush. It wasn't dumbed down. The spaghetti was cooked well. And the chicken was fried, and then they covered it with a glop of undercooked red sauce. And I finally removed I even blotted it with a napkin at one point to get rid of it. And I did eat my whole chicken, but the pasta and that horrific sauce.
I
went
will
back.
say, I honestly have to say that I'm not ridiculously picky when it comes to my red sauce. I'm picky with this red sauce I make. Okay, when I cook it myself, then I'm very picky. But generally speaking, I don't think ever in my life have I actively looked to scrape marinara sauce off something because it was so bad. I'm not that picky.
I don't think I am
But
either.
this was really just that bad. It was just bad.
I mean, inedible bad. This wasn't just, it's a taste preference. Everyone at the table could not eat the red
It
sauce
made
on
your
anything.
tongue feel raw.
Yeah, it was awful.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe this was a bad batch. I'm willing to give them the
So
benefit
generous.
of the doubt. But
I've got to say, I watched other dishes go back.
yeah, a lot of dishes were going back half eaten.
Right. That's a bad sign. John had the cannelloni, and his had the red sauce over it, but then they had put like a cheesy, creamy sauce.
Like a bechamel
or
around it.
bechamel around the outside.
Which is like one of my favorite things ever.
But if you mix that with a little bit of the red sauce, it toned it down. So he gave me a bite, and I said, "Well, that's better than what I had."
Yeah, the cream is gonna. The
cream and the cheese.
Well,
I gotta be
it's
honest
gonna
with
help bring down the acidity.
I couldn't eat it. I sent 90% of it back. Even with pushing the stuff aside and mixing up, I thought it was awful. It was just a giant bowl of mush that tasted bad.
Okay, Craig, you're up.
overcooked.
Yeah, so spaghetti and meatballs.
So everybody got red sauce pretty much.
Yeah, there
See,
was.
I'm more of a chicken piccata, chicken
Yeah,
marsala.
those aren't on here.
However,
Those aren't on
this
there.
is the
yeah.
menu presented.
The
to us.
very limited menu.
I'm going to read you the rest of the entrees. There's a margarita pizza. There's a Caesar salad. There's a New York strip steak. There is Joe's artisanal pizza. There's a pasta primavera, which is vegetables cooked in garlic and olive oil. And then there is a shrimp scampi. Those are the options.
Yeah, the pasta primavera was my initial choice that I was going to go with. And
I was
then
thinking about it too,
Whenever
yeah.
they said, "Oh, yeah, spaghetti and meatballs," it's like, okay, well, for the sake of the review, go with that. And just like the soup, the meatball was actually really good. It was just a larger version of it. You could tell that that's not like a frozen meatball that they just warmed up somehow.
Yeah, it's a sausage meatball. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
it was made with care. And I did scrape the sauce off of it, and I had both meatballs, and they were both good. And I was able to eat some of the pasta too that wasn't on the
Yeah, but when you have
tarnished
to do an
side.
autopsy on your dinner to eat it,
I flat out said that I would have preferred it if it would have just came with like buttered noodles and the two meatballs and went the kids route on the food. It would have actually been a really good meal then. Yeah.
yeah, a jar of Prego would have been 3 steps up from this. And I consider Prego, well, I consider Ragu the worst red sauce ever made in the history of red sauce. But
Now there's a new contender.
there's a new contender for the bottom. Yeah, it's a race to the bottom here. But
We-
that would have been, I think Ragu would have been better than this.
We ordered a couple of desserts. Pete had the no sugar added raspberry sorbet. We also ordered there was a special dessert that day. The chef's selection was a lemon cheesecake with what looked like corn and raspberry
Yeah.
Kool-Aid. And Craig ordered the tiramisu. I'm sorry, I've never seen. That's how it came out. Do you see the
In a-
chocolate running down the side?
In a coffee cup.
It was a
kind of.
coffee cup where somebody had taken a splotch of this and went, "Phoop." That was the presentation at a Disney restaurant.
This is a pre-plated dessert. You could tell they have all of these in their freezer
Yeah.
somewhere or refrigerator somewhere, and then they bring them out. And
How was the sorbet?
The sorbet was okay. It was okay.
Raspberry
I mean,
sorbet.
It was raspberry
I thought it
sorbet,
was
and it wasn't
really-
particularly good raspberry sorbet. It just wasn't. It wasn't disgusting.
I thought it was really tart.
It didn't have red sauce on it.
But I like that. I do
you?
like that tartness to some of my desserts and things like that. So I don't mind that. It just it didn't blow my skirt up.
Craig, how was the tiramisu?
It wasn't awful. I ate a good amount of it. It just didn't really taste like any tiramisu I've ever had before. I did appreciate the cleverness of serving the tiramisu in a coffee cup, but yeah, they did it so sloppily that it was kind of lazy on their part, especially for $6.50 for that dessert.
$7, $6.99.
Yeah, you should be able to get a little bit more than that.
It was espresso, soaked ladyfingers, whipped mascarpone, and dark chocolate shavings. I'm sorry. I serve things better at home when I'm going to eat in front of the TV. Mm-hmm. I take more care with that. We had the lemon cheesecake, which was the special of the special of the day,
which I thought was excellent. I loved it.
I liked the little mound of lemon cheesecake. The little things around it were a little tart, but you liked them.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like
Was
that
that lemon
tart.
too?
Yeah, this was the little dollops around it are lemon.
And the
it's a
raspberry,
Kool-Aid.
and it's a raspberry skid mark underneath. This was the best thing we tasted. John doesn't like Disney desserts. This was the best thing I
And
tasted
how much
all day.
was that one?
That was $5.99. Are you hanging on? Dinner for the four of us.
Lunch.
Now, lunch for the four of us. Excuse me. Now, consider we did order a pizza and we did order calamari. These so we could taste them. But lunch for the four of us was $177.
Whoa. Jeez.
Yep.
No alcohol.
No
obviously.
alcohol.
No alcohol.
There was a Diet Coke. There was an iced tea. There were 2 coffees.
That's it.
That was it. So it was, and we used Tables in Wonderland. So after, it was basically the same, but then the tip was included.
Right.
Can we talk about the location? That I've never been to this restaurant before. I guess because of the location, it's right as you enter the park, and usually you enter the park and you're on a mission. Get down Main Street.
And by the time
get
you're
into the
coming to
park.
lunch or dinner, you're too far into the park to come all
Yeah.
the way back.
Right.
This should be the premier restaurant in any Disney park anywhere.
I was going to ask that. Like, is it a restaurant that is often overlooked because people are so ready to get into the park and get on with their day, or is it something that should be?
Well, this falls into what I think we can now call Hollywood and Vine syndrome. It has a built-in popularity because of its location, and as a result, paying attention to quality, taste, flavor, presentation out the window. Out the window. There's, and I know we always, whenever we give reviews like this, especially to restaurants like this, there is invariably that person, those people who will say you don't like anything and you're too picky. Listen, I like plenty. And I like plenty at Disney World, and I talk about it all the time. But when it's crap, and somebody's got to say it. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to think it's crap. And that doesn't mean either one of us are wrong. That's number one. Number two, when a lunch anywhere, I don't care if it's in a theme park or out, when a lunch anywhere is $43 per person, you got a right to be picky. And you got a right to say, you know what? Do a better job in how you prepare and present this food for $43 a person for lunch. And number three, there's no excuse that we're doing it for the kids because they want to see the characters, because this is not a character meal. They don't have characters to fall back on. This is just plain bad. It's bad food, and it doesn't need to be in one of the flagship theme parks in the world. Kevin is absolutely right. This should be a beacon of how it is done. Instead, it is a highway robbery taking place in the Magic Kingdom to soak you out of as much money as they can without paying any attention whatsoever to the quality or flavor of what they're serving you.
The theming in this restaurant is a statue of Lady and the Tramp in the center of the back part of the restaurant.
Well, dogs would enjoy this restaurant.
Right, but then the rest of the restaurant, I mean, where we were sitting, the theming was reduced to window clings. You know those vinyl window things you stick on for holidays? That's the level of theming. And I'm sorry, this has the best location. I mean, first of all, it's perfect for parade viewing.
Oh, yeah.
And it has the premier location of any restaurant in any theme park anywhere.
And Disney has proven that they can make good Italian food.
Right.
There's the new restaurant in Epcot that serves very good Italian food.
Oh, it's not about ability. It's about willingness. It's about why should we? We're making money, people are coming, we're filling the place. What do we care?
And the restaurant was crowded as we left. When we went in, we had a reservation at 1 o'clock and the restaurant started to fill up. When we were leaving, the rest of the restaurant was fairly full.
And that's where Disney gets a shame on you. because this is an absolute classic example of its location, 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 screw everything else. This restaurant should not, and this restaurant has been consistently this bad. Consistently this bad.
It's also filled because of the lack of sit-down restaurants. With Be Our Guest being out of reach, you have Liberty Tree Tavern. Other than that, it's pretty much fast food.
Well, and you got Skipper Canteen now.
Oh, that's right. I haven't been there yet.
But I think that's exactly why we were able to get into Tony's Town Square so easily on Martin Luther King Day, because now that you have Skipper Canteen, this is the first one to start losing some of its popularity.
Well, I'll tell you
it's
what,
open.
Skipper Canteen is a much, much, much better option than Tony's Town Square. If you want to spend some money and get a halfway decent meal, better than halfway decent meal, go to Skipper Canteen. Skip this dump.
Now, I also have to say we got a reservation very easily on Friday for that Monday. And then on Sunday, we decided to move it from dinner to lunch. And that was done without a problem also. So reservations were available.
Yeah, I mean, my look, if my opinion matters to any of you, skip this place. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. There are better places to eat in the Magic Kingdom. There are better experiences. You know what? Cosmic Rays is going to serve you a better meal.
Go get a waffle sandwich at Sleepy Hollow.
There you go. I mean, there's just a lot of better options, and this should be your last stop. This should be, there's no place else to eat, and if I don't eat now, I'm going to die. Outside of that, skip this place. And I know, I'm sure there are some of you out there who love it, and think it's the best restaurant. And look, I'm not saying you're wrong.
I am. You're wrong. It's not the best It's not the best anything.
No, I'm saying that, we can have differing opinions, and nobody has to be wrong. This is just mine. That's all. And I just happen to have a microphone. So this was a snapshot of our experience. I have eaten here before. This is pretty much the same experience I've had every time I've eaten there. Not had a good meal there. I go back because of what we do, and I want to see. Maybe they have changed, because things can change. We've seen it happen many times. And I hope that at some point Disney says, yeah, you know what? We can do better here. And we should. We
also all went in and had the discussion before we ordered anything. Let's do this with an open mind. Don't come in with a preconceived notion that this is horrible.
And I always do. Always do. I know you do as well. You're open. We want it to be good. We want to come back and say, this was great. Unfortunately, this time, fate was against us, and so was the red sauce. So we're not able to. But, yeah, that's our experience at Tony's Town Square restaurant. So, with that will do it for this episode of the Diz Unplugged. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with you again next week with another edition of our show. Take care, everybody, and remember, stay out of Tony's Town Square restaurant. Go into the lakes before you go into Tony's Town Square restaurant, okay?